Hey guys, it's Kelly from Swell Kel. Hope you're having a great day. So today's video is going to be about making baby food. When Finnegan was little, I made all of his baby food, and I think that's why he's such a great eater today. So one of my best friends texted me this morning and said, hey, can you send me an email about how to make baby food? And I kind of dug out all my old stuff, and that's pretty much what today's video is going to be about, is how to make baby food for your little one and create a good eater moving forward in the future. So there's a couple things you need to know starting out. Is number one, typically you're going to start feeding your baby food as opposed to breast milk or formula around 4 to 6 months. And you want to talk to your pediatrician about that, so don't go by what I'm saying, but that's what I did. And then secondly, you definitely want to wait 5 to 7 days between each new food that you introduce. So typically what you'll start with is like a rice cereal. You'll do that for about 5 days, then an oatmeal, you'll do that for about 5 days, and then you can start introducing the fruits and vegetables. So today I'm going to talk about the fruits and vegetables, because the rice cereal and the oatmeal, that's something you can easily buy at the store, and I didn't make those from scratch. It just seemed kind of silly. They're not stored with preservatives and things like that, so I just went ahead and used what I could get at my grocery store. So that's kind of where I want to start out with the video. It's just that I'm going to talk about doing the actual food part of it. I also want to let you know that I am a full-time working mom, and I was able to do this. So this isn't difficult. I want to take the intimidation factor out of this completely. It's not hard. I am certainly not a trained chef. It's really, really simple. It takes about 30 to 40, 45 minutes, maybe twice a week. So the payoff with that is that you'll probably have a really good eater at the end. And it's easy. The other thing is, if you've ever tried the store baby food, even the organic brands, they do not taste anything like what you could make them on your own. And hence that's why I say at 10 or 12 months, when they start eating baby food on their own, it tastes exactly like what you've been giving to them the whole time. So let's just start there, and I'm going to give you several tips throughout this process, but I'm just going to let you know what I did, and hopefully this will be helpful to you. So first, you need about 4 things to get started, and I'm just going to let you know my process and how I was able to kind of get everything done quickly and simply, so I had food for him prepared for the next like 2 weeks or so. So first, you need a food processor. So I'm just going to show you my little mini one that I had. I actually ended up buying a bigger one because this, the smaller ones, although cute and necessary maybe for dips or something, you can't really make a lot of batches in this. So for example, like a sweet potato, you might have to put it through, do 2 batches of it, as opposed to being able to throw, you know, the insides of 4 sweet potatoes in one thing and then you're done. So I would highly recommend getting one. I just didn't want to hold my big, huge food processor, but Cuisinart makes a good one, but I think any brand will do. You just want to get the biggest one you can get. It'll just save you a lot of time. So that's the first thing you need. The second thing you need is just any kind of glass dish or bowl, because if you're going to heat these up in the microwave, you want it to be glass and not plastic. The third thing you will need is, which everyone should have most of these things already, maybe not the food processor, but that's something you can purchase, is a baking sheet and parchment paper or wax paper. I left a little out so you can see what I'm talking about. You'll use this to line your baking sheet for cooking certain items. So there's some things you should probably have. The fourth thing I'll show you, not everyone will have this, but I'm showing it to you because if you do, this will help save you time as well. It's one of these kind of double broiler looking pots. So this is just my regular everyday cooking pot. But it came with this accessory, which has the holes in the bottom, and so just so you can see. And basically you would fill the pot about 1/4 of the way with water, start boiling that, and then you would put the peas or the fruit or what have you in here, and it would then steam it when this is all put together. So it usually steams stuff for about 5 to 8 minutes in there. So those are all the things that I had and used to get myself started with cooking and making the baby food. final thing that you'll need, and this is a personal choice, I find for a lot of people, is what you're going to store the baby food in. So I had these great containers, you know, about yay big, had lids on them, and they would then sit in a tray. So it was, you know, maybe 6 in a tray. And then the seconds that I had would stack on top of them. So I could stack them in the freezer or the refrigerator, whatever, whichever place they were at that time. But I found that those were really convenient to be able to stack and store. And also I liked the little plastic individual servings. So when I dropped him off at daycare or a babysitter or even at home, I had the individual servings ready to go. So I knew in the morning I was going to give him pears and oatmeal, and the evening was peas and rice cereal, what have you. So you can always take those out from the freezer, put them in the refrigerator for the next day, whatever you're going to choose, so it can start thawing. So the next question is probably, can I keep this food in the refrigerator? Yes, you can. Guidelines are typically 48 to 72 hours. I would stick more to the 48-hour rule. So if you make it on Sunday night, which is, I always made mine on Sunday, you know, you had Monday and Tuesday to use the fresh food that was in the refrigerator, and then from there forward, you would use whatever was in the freezer. So anyway, getting all that out, let's get to the fun part. So this is what I did to try to get the biggest bang for my buck and to try to get as much food as I could get done in one particular time. So the vegetables that I would usually cook, I usually did 3 vegetables most of the time, which were peas, butternut squash, and sweet potatoes. Also carrots sometimes as well, but I'm just going to start with those 3 because you can kind of follow these same guidelines for anything else that you're going to cook. So I would take the butternut squash is the hardest one, or at least you would think it would be the hardest one. It's simple, but you buy the butternut squash, you chop off the skinnier part on the top, chop that off, and then slice it down the middle. Have your husband help you with that because they are kind of hard to cut through the center. But once they're, you know, this is how it is. You would slice the top, open it up. In the center, like the little palm part of the butternut squash, you just want to scoop the seeds out. They kind of look like pumpkin seeds because they're gourds as well. And you just want to discard those. Then what you're going to do with them is you're going to place them on top. You're going to put them on the baking sheet. So you're going to put the parchment paper on first, then face them gooey side down so the skin side will be showing. And when you put it in the oven, get a little pitcher of water and pour a little bit of water onto the baking sheet. That'll help steam and, you know, make a soft, nice butternut squash. The other thing I would put in the oven are some sweet potatoes. Just depending, 3, 4, whatever, so simple. You don't have to really do anything other than wash them, throw them in the oven. So I would set the oven to 375, put the sweet potato and the butternut squash in there, and let it bake for about 30 to 40 minutes. Just keep an eye on it, depends on your oven. So I'd have those going. Then on the stove, I would have this lovely double broiler steamer kind of thing. And I usually did a bag of frozen peas. You can find organic frozen peas. Even my grocery store here in the South, Publix, makes Greenwise is their organic brand. They make frozen peas, and then Cascadia, I think, is one of them. So you can find them. If that's not your thing, you can get regular peas too, but I'm just letting you know they do make frozen organic vegetables. So I would take that and put that in the double broiler and let that steam for about 8 minutes or so. You just want to check them when they're bright green, they're usually ready. So I had that going. So all my vegetables are pretty much getting done here. Then I would take my glass dish or my glass bowl and I would do some fruit. So everyone knows this is an apple. Basically what you're going to do is you're just going to peel the skin off on apples, pears, anything that has skin. They can't have the skin. You're going to peel it, chop it up, put it in a glass dish, once it's chopped up obviously, not like this, and a little bit of water, and put it in the microwave for about 4 to 5 minutes until it gets soft. You would do that for apples and pears. Once they're done, they're going to be kind of smushy, and that's when you start the food processor piece of it. So you'll honestly, it kind of works out really good because by the time the fruit is done, the peas will almost be done. You could kind of take them off the heat, and you can food process the apple, put it in all your individual containers, freeze it, keep a couple out for the next day. Then you can do the peas, like just rinse it out, put the peas in there, pulverize them, and freeze them. I did forget to mention one thing. When you are starting out, you're going to want to add your breast milk or formula, whichever one you're using. I was not breastfeeding at that time because I went back to work and I wasn't pumping. So I used formula, and that's going to thin out the applesauce. It's going to thin out the peas. You want them to be very thin in the beginning so that the baby can take them in. So, and again, don't forget the rule of every 5 to 7 days, introduce a new food. So anyway, that's what you'll do. And you'll just repeat the process in the microwave in the glass dish for pears. So I would also make pears and apples the same day. So then I had 2 fruits done. I had 3 vegetables done. As everything came out of the oven, I would just scoop the insides of the baked potato or the squash out and pulverize them in the food processor and add again the formula to thin them out. And then you just put them in their container and you're done. It's really that simple. The other 2 things I will mention that you can make, other than the ones that you have to bake and cook and steam, and 2 of my favorites, which are bananas and avocados. Those are the 2 other things I fed Finn, and you can just mash them with a fork and then put a little formula in the beginning to thin them out a little bit. So really, really simple. You don't need the food processor for that. You can just use a fork, like I said, and put your breast milk or formula to thin them out. Usually I use those as I was kind of running out of food too, or in the mornings if I forgot to take something out for him, I would give him banana. And they absolutely love it, anything that's sweet. So that's just a few of the things that I made. I also did make carrots as well, but other than that, I didn't get super fancy with it. I wanted to try to make meat for him towards the end when they were allowed, and I made one time this blueberry applesauce, but it was just really difficult to try to make like these gourmet baby foods for him. So I just kept it really simple, really easy, and he's 5 now, wonderful eater. I mean, always eats his fruit, always eats vegetables, prefers them, to be honest with you. And so I think the payoff of just doing it for 5 to 6 months was definitely worth it. So if you guys have any other questions, please let me know below. I'm happy to do a full tutorial in the kitchen if that helps. Or if you have any other questions about it, please don't hesitate to ask. I'm happy to answer them. But I hope this was helpful to you, and definitely come back and watch again. I think this week my next video is going to be about my little Target haul where I found some good Christmas gift ideas. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.